Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Osla and this is Zuchi's Fashion. So on this channel I teach simple and practical sewing tutorials to help you improve your sewing skills step by step. So if you love sewing or you want to learn how to sew beautiful outfits, you are in the right place. Now let's get started with today's lessons. So I'm going to be using this material to make the skirt, and we'll start by folding our material into two. Please ignore the previous lines because when I did this I never knew my phone wasn't recording. So I will take out my ruler to rule our start line so we do not add the edge of this fabric to our sewing. So I'm going to measure the length of our skirt. Full length is 19, but the upper part of the skirt will be 10 inches plus sewing allowance. Then I will take my waist measurement divided by 2 plus 2 inches. That's exactly what I did here. Then from my waist to hip I'm going to mark 9 inches. There is no waistband on this skirt, so we are marking it straight. Then I will divide my hip measurement by 4 and I will add 2 inches for sewing allowance. Okay, there is no dart on this skirt. Then I'll connect the line from the hip to the waist just like you're seeing, and then I will take the line straight down just like you're seeing on the video. So after this, next thing I'll do is to take my scissors and cut. So after cutting, next is to cut the back of our skirt. So we're going to fold our fabric like we did before into two, and we're just gonna leave space for our zipper allowance. All right, so next thing I'm going to do is to trim out the edge of the back skirt just as you're seeing on the screen, so that we can align the length of the front skirt to the back. So next we are going to be measuring from our waist towards the zip area to 9 inches because that is the length of my zip, and from the hip area we are going to take 1 inch zipper allowance, and on the waist area I will take ½ inch zipper allowance. Then I'm going to connect the waist to the hips, and from the hips straight down just like you're seeing. We all know that our back is not straight, so that was why I did it that way. So by the time you finish trimming it, you can see that it has a curve, it's not straight. So next we are going to cut the downside of this fabric, which is 9 inches. I'm going to be adding 2 inches for folding allowance, half for joining allowance, and 1.5 for folding allowance. So I did the same thing for the second layer. All right, the second layer is like 8 inches plus folding allowance, everything. All right, so by the time I was done, I had to cut out my lining for both the front and back pattern of my skirt, and after joining it this way I'm going to flip it over, give it a good press, which I did off camera. You're also going to top stitch on the lining, and also due to this skirt does not have a waistband, knowing Ankara is so light, I just added a little bit of hairstay at the waist area. I wanted to add full, but then I just felt I should add it at the waist area of my skirt. So next is to mark out my allowance where I'm going to be adding my zip, which is 1 inch all through. I'm going to run a loose stitch from the waist to the part I drew lines, and then from there I will tighten it and then go down. You know how you fix your zip. So next thing is to join the front and back together so that we could use our measurement, waist divided by 2. So whatever you have, you divide the leftover in both sides. From waist to hip 9 inches, then hips divided by 2. What is left, you divide it and distribute it to both sides. So after that I'm going to go to my machine to run thread over, and this is what it looks like after sewing everything. So I brought my other fabric that I'll be using to gather under the skirt, and this is the second step. So what I will do is to fold their edges, and next is to take my tape to make sure that the upper part of my skirt is exactly 10 inches plus sewing allowance. And already I gathered the down part, so I want to also check if the full measurement is 19 inches plus sewing allowance to join the upper part to the down part. I also went ahead to fix my zip off camera, and that brings us to the end of today's sewing lessons. I hope we learned something new. So if you did, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your notification bell so you don't miss my next sewing tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next class. Bye.